Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IAS Academy. In this lecture, we will be discussing about how the missile strike in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir through the Operation Sindoor is basically India's diplomatic gain on Kashmir. So this article basically talks about a larger success of Operation Sindoor, which is not just about destroying the terrorist camps, which I believe is a great success, but instead of that, this article talks about another success which probably is a bigger one. Now it is debatable which is bigger, because destroying terrorist camp is of course of utmost importance, but at least we can dissect and see what other impact or success is this article talking about. So what is the news all about? The news is about the Operation Sindoor that has been carried out by India as a response to the Pahalgam terrorist attack that took place, which took away 26 lives. 25 lives of Indian citizens and one that of a Nepali citizen. So total 26 lives were lost and way more lives were actually affected because of that. Subsequent to which, India did take a lot of measures, basically talking about stopping the Indus Water Treaty agreement that is there, lowering the diplomatic ties, sending the diplomats back, cancelling the visas, the Pakistani visas, so on and so forth. But now the on-ground action has been taken through Operation Sindoor, wherein 9 targets were hit, or 9 regions were hit, destroying the terrorist camps, the headquarters of various terrorist organizations, so on and so forth. So that in itself is a great success of the mission. However, the writer here is going to talk about another success as well. So what is that? He talks about a paradigm shift in India's response to terrorism. So what is this paradigm shift? This is basically from Kashmir politics to counter-terrorism strategy. So till now, the responses, specifically in the 1940s, the 1960s and 70s, when the responses were there, it was somewhat sort of the Kashmir politics that was happening. But now the response is not about Kashmir or any Kashmir issue, because there is no issue. Kashmir is basically an integral part of India. Right? It is an integral part of India. Pakistan has tried to internationalize that issue unnecessarily, and we were involved in that politics. But right now, the response has nothing to do with the politics of Kashmir, but rather it is simply an act of counter-terrorism. Our Operation Sindoor is nothing but an act of counter-terrorism, and the counter-terrorism strategy that India has deployed or implemented through this particular operation. So if you look at the historical background, in 1947, the tribal militants and the irregular Pakistani forces, so there was the non-state actors also involved. They invaded Kashmir and were known as the Qabalis. So we will see how the nomenclature was different. They were not called as terrorists. But now, after this Pahalgam attack, we are simply calling them for what they are, that is terrorists. So this is a paradigm shift which is being talked about. So in 1947, when they invaded, they were called as Qabalis. We should have called them terrorists at that time, and again taken counter-terrorist strategy at that time as well. But they were called as Qabalis. Moving ahead, if you look at in 1965 during Operation Gibraltar, so this is the Operation Gibraltar that Pakistan undertook. So in this, what happened? Pakistani infiltrators were there who infiltrated Indian territory, and they were called as the Mujahids or the Mujahiddeens, the Mujahids. Now again, the word terrorist is not being used over here. Of course, India thwarted that, and India again hoisted its national flag in that region, which is an integral part of India. Moving ahead, what has happened now post 2025's Pahalgam attack? Now these actors which are there, the state or the extra state actors, we are no longer going to call them as Qabalis or the Mujahids, etc., etc. They are now clearly, unequivocally termed as terrorists. This attack, mind you, is a terrorist attack, and these attackers are nothing but terrorists. So when India is responding to that, India is taking counter-terrorism strategy or counter-terrorism actions against these terrorists and their terrorist organization. This is what we have to be absolutely clear with. Now, the real and largest success, the writer says, of the Operation Sindoor lies in it being an act of deterrence against terrorism. So we are deterring, trying to thwart terrorism. We are just doing that and nothing else. So its biggest success is in deterring against terrorism, that we actually did very successfully. At the same time, we avoided internationalizing the Kashmiri issue, because every time what happens, Pakistan or Pakistan's state or non-state actors does a terrorist act, and there is a response from India, but at the same time Pakistan goes to United Nations, take the help of USA, etc., and tries to internationalize the issue. But right now that is not going to happen. Our response was measured, strategic, precise, and it targeted only and only the terrorist camps. So why are they not able to internationalize this time? There's a very simple and straightforward reason for that. What did we do? What did we destroy? We basically focused on the terrorist infrastructure. So what were these? The Jaish-e-Mohammed's headquarters in Bahawalpur. So this was the Jaish-e-Mohammed. It's a terrorist organization, their headquarters. Then you have Lashkar-e-Taiba. What is this? Another terrorist organization. Its campus in Muridke. Then you have Hizbul Mujahideen. Now again a terrorist organization. So its facilities near Sialkot. So we have targeted only and only the terrorist camps, the terrorist headquarters, the terrorist facilities, and taken them down. And we made sure of one thing. We did not in any manner attack any of the Pakistani military bases. So no Pakistani military or civilian targets were hit. Not a single civilian, not a single civilian casualty, not even a single civilian facility got damaged, let alone the life, but not even a civilian structure was damaged, let alone the civilian structure. Even the Pakistani military was untouched in this complete operation. So Pakistan has basically no high ground over here to come and talk about internationalizing this issue and crying foul over here. However, they may still do that, saying that no, it was not a terrorist camp, but we know it was. The entire world knows that it is, and slowly and steadily the world and the different countries are coming in support of India. We'll see which those countries are and how are they showing their support to India. So we clearly see that no Pakistani military or civilian targets were hit. The operation was confined to and seen as being anti-terrorist operation rather than a conflict with Pakistan. So we were not in conflict with Pakistan. It's not a war against Pakistan. It is simply a counter-terrorist measure that we are taking, as a result of which no internationalization of issue. I hope that's absolutely clear. Now, this is also in sync with the continuation of the 2019 policy. So in 2019, what happened? There was the abrogation of Article 370 in August 2019. We abrogated Article 370 and Jammu and Kashmir from a state got converted into union territory. 2 union territories. It was split into 2 union territories. Now, what does it do? Since it was split into union territories from a state, now there is no state government that's going to control, but rather the central government who is going to control each and every aspect of Jammu and Kashmir. So that is a paradigm shift again with respect to it, and this is what is being continued. It reinforces J&K as an integral part of India, not keep it as a separate state also. Of course, all the states are also a part of India, but here, since it's a union territory, it is directly governed, controlled, monitored, and regulated by the government of India and not any state government. Now, positions Pakistan-occupied Kashmir as the only bilateral, it's a bilateral concern. Now, the only concern that we are left with is the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Pakistan-occupied Kashmir is the bilateral concern which is there between India and Pakistan. So, it is an illegally occupied territory which Pakistan has, which is known as the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The other operation, the other thing is not with respect to the Kashmir issue, but a counter-terrorist measure. Now, At the same time, as I said, there are countries which are coming in support of India. Yes, they include the USA. Interestingly, the USA, of course, because USA has at many times sided with Pakistan, be it the Kargil war, be it the Bangladesh liberation war, so on and so forth. But here, USA is siding with Pakistan. In fact, other countries are also, in fact, France is also coming up. Israel has come up, and they are saying that all India did is nothing but exercise its right of self-defense. So this is what has been said by Israel, that there is no place for the terrorists to hide, says Israeli ambassador. He also support India's right to self-defense on Operation Sindoor. This is what Israel's ambassador or the diplomat has to say. So we are being supported by the countries worldwide because this is our right to self-defense. This is integral to India's security and sovereignty. It asserted countries are asserting, we are just simply asserting our sovereignty without provoking full-scale war. We did not do any provocation because we did not target any civilians nor any military bases of Pakistan. We just did a counter-terrorist operation. This demonstrated a bold yet calibrated. Calibrated means a very measured military doctrine of India. So India has successfully conducted this operation, and which is a larger success of India to ensure that we did a counter-terrorist measure under Operation Sindoor. Thank you.